Hello and welcome to Wedding Wednesdays with Weddings Online. My name is Kelly and I'm a former wedding planner and blogger, and I'm obsessed with weddings. If you're planning a wedding in Ireland, you're in the right place. You're going to learn the tried and tested methods to planning your dream wedding without the added stress. Think of this as your one-stop shop for everything to do with planning your wedding in Ireland, with me, your new wedding planning bestie, and a cup of tea. This is Wedding Wednesdays with Weddings Online. Well, hello and welcome to Wedding Wednesdays with Weddings Online. My name is Kelly. I've got my cup of tea here, and today we are talking about how to plan the most fun wedding ever. Now, if you missed last week's episode, we spoke all about mistakes that couples make while planning their wedding and also how you can avoid them. So if you missed that, don't forget to catch up. It was a great episode with lots of helpful tips and wedding planning advice for you. Now, when it comes to weddings, they're always fun. If you're a guest, if you are the couple, if you are the family of the couple, it doesn't matter who you are, weddings are always fun. So let's just start by saying that. But you don't just want the wedding to be fun for you and your nearest and dearest. You want everyone to say, oh my gosh, this was the best wedding ever. So you want it to be memorable. You want to focus the attention on your guests a little bit. You want to do things that inject personality into your wedding. And I'm going to start with a hot take and say that if you get rid of this whole it's my day mentality, there's a better chance that your guests will turn around and say, wow, this is such a fun wedding, because the attention will be on them and on doing things that they love, not only doing the things that you love. We'll talk a bit more about this as we go along. So let's get started. Very first thing, if you want to plan the most fun wedding ever, you want to start to build the excitement from the very beginning. So this is what I'm talking about. If you're having some kind of a theme, which we'll also talk about a little bit later, you want to show little hints of this theme in your save the dates and your wedding invitations. You want to find ways that from the very beginning of the journey of your wedding, people are experiencing your personality, your theme, the fun that's to come. And so the very first thing that people will get is the save the date, then the invitation. There's your wedding website where you can tell your love story. You can share fun facts about yourselves as a couple. You can talk about how you met. There's so many things that you can do that can actually give clues about what people can expect on the day, all the way at the beginning of the journey. So don't forget about that. The next thing you can do is you could have a theme. So now in our real weddings here on Weddings Online, we often see couples picking an amazing color combination, which is a great way to start. So, for my wedding, I really enjoy the color pink. And so we had a sort of blush pink and champagne gold color scheme. And we got married in autumn. And so it was very much in line with our personalities. It also fit with the season we were getting married in. And it was really fun and romantic. And at the time, it was something I hadn't seen a lot of people doing. So picking a really cool color combination is one way that you can have a theme, or you could, do something a little bit more out there. So we've seen things like music themed weddings. So if you're really, really into music, or if you guys are actually musicians, find fun ways to incorporate music and music related things into your wedding. We've also seen things like travel themed weddings. That's particularly fun if you and your other half are from different countries or different cities, or maybe if you've traveled a lot or you plan to travel a lot, you can incorporate all kinds of travel related things into your theme. We've even seen something, this is probably the most creative wedding theme that I've seen in our Weddings Online real weddings. We had one that it was a black gothic wedding with a till death theme, which I thought was really creative, and it matched the couple's personalities perfectly. The bride actually wore a black dress, which I thought was awesome, and she just looked amazing. So basically pick a theme and make sure it fits with your personality. And then once you've done that, think of all the ways that you can carry your theme throughout that wedding. Next thing you want to do is start the day right. So you want to start your day the way that you continue the day, which is by keeping your guests feeling comfortable and happy and looked after. So you could start with a welcome drink. If it's summer, it's amazing to arrive at a wedding and there's even something as simple as bottles of water or, some kind of a cocktail or fruit juice or something. It doesn't have to be super fancy. It can be anything just to keep your guests cool and relaxed, thinking about the fact that they've probably driven in the heat to get to your wedding. And if it's winter, you could do the same, but with a hot drink. So you could have a coffee van, or you could have hot chocolate, or just something to welcome them with something cozy when they get to your wedding day. Other things that help them to feel comfortable and relaxed when they arrive. Things like a program or a printout of what's expected for, at least for the ceremony. It doesn't have to be for the whole day. And in there, you can include some fun little facts. You could list your wedding party names. You can put your parents' names. You can share your love story, like we mentioned about your website. You can put some of those facts and details onto your programs for the day, because it just gives your guests something fun to do and to read while they wait for you to walk down the aisle. Okay, next thing. This is really fun. If you want to plan a fun wedding, you want to make it interactive. And that's not just thinking about your actual wedding day, but all the things that happen before. So, you may have an engagement party or a hen party, a stag do. There are all kinds of opportunities where you can get your guests mingling with each other. And so it could be things like a fun game or an icebreaker, or even just something like on your wedding day or at these events, mixing up the seating arrangements. You could serve your food buffet style, and you can play some kind of a fun game that just gets your guests talking to each other and not just with the people that they know. And so now creating special memories and creating friendships with, people from all different walks of life. You've got your friends from school, you've got your family members, you've got your long distance cousins who live somewhere else, you've got your work friends, your church friends, all the different worlds of yours colliding. And so to get them to meet each other and to become friends is really special. It's not something that you can manufacture, but you can create moments where people can mingle with each other. And there's the chance that they could really hit it off and become good friends. Now, when you're thinking about making things interactive and fun, there's one group of guests that sometimes we forget about, and that is the kids. So I actually asked Aisling from the Wedding Nanny if she could give some advice on what you can do to actually have a fun wedding that your little guests really, really enjoy. So why don't we have a listen and see what she has to say.
Hi Kelly, Aisling here from the Wedding Nanny. So when you're planning your wedding, don't forget the children. There are so many great ways to make the day fun for them too. If you're looking for ways to include them, I would look at your ceremony. I personally would suggest having a sand ceremony for the children, and the meaning behind this ceremony is so lovely, but in my experience the children have so much fun picking out the sand colours and pouring the sand with their parents. It's such a lovely experience. Another great way to include the children would be to ask your venue coordinator if the children could ring the bell for dinner. This gives the children a real sense of independence, and they love the reaction from the guests. I've had a few children do this before, and they've spoke about it for the rest of the evening. But most importantly, I would just say to have fun with your children on the day. Let them stay up a little bit later, let them have a little dance with you, and just let the day be as natural as possible for them.
That is amazing. Thank you, Aisling. I think so many amazing little bits of information of things you can do with your own children and with the other children that you are having at your wedding if you're going for a child-free wedding. Next thing, if you're planning a really fun wedding, you want to think beyond the ballroom. So sometimes when we're looking for a wedding venue, that's sort of where our brainstorming begins and ends with which venue we choose. And that is a really big decision. But think about all the different things you want to happen at your wedding and consider finding a venue that can help you achieve all these different things. For example, there is the ballroom, which we spoke about. That's where you're going to be eating, drinking, dancing, having fun with your guests. But do you also want to have, a lovely space for fun photos? A lot of venues have really great spaces where you can take amazing photos outside or inside. Do you want to find a cozy spot where you can huddle around a fireplace once it gets dark? Or do you want to set up a photo booth somewhere? Basically what I'm saying is find a venue that is authentic to you and the fun things that you want to do at your wedding, and don't limit it to just what happens inside. But think about all the different corners and garden areas and all the different things you can do. And once you think you found your venue, ask yourself this question: is this us? And if it is, you found a winner. Okay, next thing. This is probably the most fun thing that you can do at your wedding is the party. You want to make your party a party. So create that party atmosphere. And that means having an amazing band or DJ or both, because they really know how to get the party going. You can get your guests to send in song requests. This could be something that you put on your website. You could put it on your RSVP cards. It's just a way that your guests can anticipate having some fun music that they've requested. You can also surprise them with something special and unique. And there are so many ideas, tons and tons of ideas. We've seen people have singing waiters. We've seen interactive games like the shoe game. We've seen things like couples having comedians and magicians come in and entertain the guests. There are things like live art, somebody painting an amazing painting of you and your wedding day while the wedding is happening in front of everybody. You can have something like a dance performance or a dance lesson, or you could end with a bang and you could have a fireworks display. Now, I actually asked Martina from Rocket Pyrotechnics how you can wow your guests with a fireworks display. Let's have a listen to what she has to say.
Hi Kelly, it's Martina here from Rocket Pyrotechnics. If couples are looking to wow their guests with unique entertainment, a fireworks display is certainly the perfect way to do just that. Imagine having your own intimate, bespoke fireworks display just for you and your guests. We love to help our couples surprise everyone. Get your guests outside for a sparkler photo and then shock them with the real thing. On a practical level, scheduling your fireworks during natural transitions in your evening plan is perfect. So, for example, after dinner, your guests have been eating and drinking all day. It's great to get them outside for a visual feast of art in the sky, leaving everyone re-energized for that evening of dancing. This time also enables the venue to restage the room after dinner or move guests from one area of the venue to another. The booking process is very easy. Email me with your venue and date and I will let you know if fireworks are possible. Once you confirm your booking with us, that's it. You don't have to do anything else as we look after all the background details. Permissions, licensing, Department of Justice, Fire, Garda, Aviation, the whole lot. On the night, we work directly with your venue to ensure everyone is outside at the same time and ready for some wow. Don't forget to let your photographer know your plans so they can capture those stunning photos.
Now that is awesome. When I was listening to that, I thought to myself, why didn't I have fireworks at my wedding? I wish I had, because it sounds like such a fun thing to do and such a cool way to really surprise your guests and take them by surprise, catch them off guard. So the next thing that you could do is you can have fun snacks. So this might be, something that you provide for guests once they've been dancing for a few hours and you want to keep their energy levels high. Now, you don't have to be fancy about what you serve at this point, because remember, at this point, you would have already given your guests, a whole meal. They would have had dessert, probably cake. They've probably had a few drinks as well. You don't need to roll out a whole menu or anything like that. But you can do things like tato packs. You can have a food bar with, sandwiches, or you can have late night pizza. You could have a whole lot of candy and sweets set up. You could have a dessert table with, a whole lot of different things that you love and things, your guests love. You could have amazing coffee, because at night, if you want to keep their energy high, give them coffee. And things like comfort food, mac and cheese, burger sliders, it can be simple, it can be fun, it doesn't have to be fancy. You just want to make sure that people are having something that's going to make them go to bed with a full belly and they're going to carry on dancing as well. Next thing that I have to say, if you want to have a fun wedding, say goodbye to stiff traditions. So now we've spoken about having your wedding your way, and what I always suggest is to do things that you want to do. So if you like the traditions, then do it, go for it. Incorporate as many traditions as you want to in your wedding. But if it's not your thing, if you're not into the first dance, if you don't really want to do the bouquet toss or the garter toss, there's so many things that you can consider. If you don't want to do them, then don't. It keeps it more relaxed if you're doing the things that you really want to do. And now you can extend that rule and you can relax the dress code as well, keeping your guests feeling a bit more comfortable in things that they already have in their wardrobe. You can serve your favorite cocktail instead of Prosecco. And you know what? If you don't want to do speeches, you can ditch the speeches too. And now finally, if you want to have the most fun wedding ever, you need to be a good host. And so this is not to put pressure on you. This is actually to take the pressure off. If you feel overwhelmed, if you feel like there's a lot going on and you're feeling stressed, that's the tone that you're setting. And on your wedding day, you're going to look distracted and that's going to rub off on your guests. But if you are cool, calm, and collected, if you're having fun, if you're not worried about the little things and you're just having a great time on your wedding day, you know what? Your guests will have fun too. And you'll be able to connect with them more. You'll be able to have good conversations. You'll be out there on the dance floor, dancing with your guests and having a really good time. And they will too. Now, in our real weddings, we always ask our couples to give their best wedding planning advice. And so many couples say the same thing, which is don't worry about the little details, don't get stressed, don't feel overwhelmed, just have fun. And you know why? Because your day flies by so quickly. And it's true. There's a reason so many couples say that. It's because it's true. So if you want your guests to have fun, make sure you are having fun too. Now, next week, we are talking all about how you can make things easy on your bridesmaids. They are your squad, these are your besties, these are your peeps, and you want to make sure that they have a great time. So if you're interested in finding out how to do that, make sure you listen in next week because it's going to be a good one. Thank you for listening today. The Wedding Wednesdays with Weddings Online podcast is produced by me, Kelly, and mixed, mastered, and edited by Glenn Hartman. A special shout out to this week's wedding planning experts, Aisling from The Wedding Nanny and Martina from Rocket Pyrotechnics. For more wedding planning tips, advice, and checklists, visit weddingsonline.ie.